Hello everybody, today we're going to do a tier ranking, and it's going to be for the first look at the 2026 Senate elections. Now, is it way too early to do this seriously? Of course it is. But over the months, some people have asked me to take a look at this, so we'll try to do it in the form of a tier ranking. And this is going to be for the general feel of how competitive they are. It's not exactly going to be a margin. A ton of it absolutely depends on who wins the presidential election. If Harris wins it, I would expect it to favor the Republicans some more. If Trump wins it, I would expect it to favor the Democrats some more. So we've got tiers A, B, C, D, and F. Some people really love an S tier or a double S tier, maybe even a Z tier. It's not really my thing. We've got A through F. A is going to be the most competitive or the most compelling. Again, not explicitly any kind of a margin. So we should have about 33 states here to take a look at. The states on the bottom do not have Senate elections during that year. And another thing to keep in mind is there's likely to be a lot of retirements between now and that election. So an open seat versus an incumbent is going to change the dynamics a lot. That's why this is just a preliminary look. As always, we'll make changes over time. So let's get started here in Alabama. This has incumbent Republican Tommy Tuberville. We don't know if he's going to run for re-election. If he does, I think he's going to be the strong favorite. I get that he could theoretically have some baggage from delaying the military promotions, and this seat was won by a Democrat in the special election of 2017, but I think it's going to be similar to Massachusetts when Scott Brown won in 2010 and flipped that seat. After that, it reverted to its partisan lane. That's what I think would happen here in Alabama. So we're going to start this one off on the bottom in the F tier. I don't really expect it to be competitive. Next, it's Alaska, and this is going to be a different story. This has incumbent Republican Dan Sullivan. If he runs for re-election, he's going to have an edge. And last time he won by double digits. But the storyline goes that Democrats are hoping Mary Peltola, the U.S. representative, runs for the U.S. Senate. If she does, I think it's going to be a lot more competitive. House and Senate are not necessarily the same office, but this is going to be a race to take a look at, and I think we're going to get this one started right in the middle. This is going to go in the C tier. Next, it's Arkansas. This is Tom Cotton's seat, and I don't expect it to be competitive. It's going to go on the bottom. Democrats don't like Cotton, but I don't know who's going to be able to come close to taking him down at this point. Next, Colorado. This is John Hickenlooper's seat, and I expect him to be the heavy favorite. Even if he doesn't run for re-election, I think the Democrats are going to hold this comfortably. I think it's just a little bit less partisan than Alabama and Arkansas, so it could get on the F tier, but I'm going to put this on the D tier. Next, it's Delaware. This is the Chris Coons seat. Whether he runs for re-election or not, this is not going to be competitive. It's going to go in F. Next, we've got Georgia. Here we've got a real competitive seat. This is incumbent Democrat Jon Ossoff. It looks like he is running for re-election, and there's going to be a lot of Republicans lining up to take him down. Here, the storyline might shift toward Brian Kemp, the current governor. He's going to be term limited out of office in that same year, so he might challenge Ossoff. If he does, I think it would be competitive. We've seen close elections in this state in the past few years. I don't think this would be any exception. Kemp has been popular, but I don't think he's necessarily going to walk all over Ossoff. But this is going to be a high-profile race. This is going to go at the top in the A tier. Next, it's Idaho. For now, I don't really see anything to talk about here. This is Jim Risch's seat, and it's going to go in F. Next, it's Illinois. We've got Dick Durbin. He's been in there a while. He might run for another term. He might retire. If he retires, I would put this in the D tier. Then there's going to be a lot of Democrats lining up. But for now, I think this is just too blue. It's going to go in F. Next, it's Iowa. And here we've got Joni Ernst. She could easily run for a third term. If she does, she's going to be the favorite. But this is not a state where you can completely count out the Democrats. They do have one statewide elected Democrat, Rob Sand. He's the state auditor. Plus, Ernst did not win in a landslide in 2020. I think this is a good state to put next to Alaska. It's going to go in the middle of the pack in the C tier. Next, it's Kansas. This is going to be Roger Marshall's seat, and he's kind of an under-the-radar senator. I don't really hear much about Marshall. If Governor Laura Kelly challenged Marshall, then this could be more competitive. Even if the state might be trending toward the left, I still don't think it would really be all that competitive. So this is borderline DF territory. We're going to say if Kelly got into the race, that's going to bump it up to D, and maybe it does trend harder to the left, so we'll put it just out of the F tier into D. Next, it's Kentucky, and this is the famous Mitch McConnell seat. I don't think he's running again. It's a very red state. Republicans are probably going to have a crowded field here, including Daniel Cameron and Thomas Massie. The only chance I can see Democrats having here is with Governor Andy Beshear. Doesn't look like he's going to run. Even if he did run, I don't think he would win. The state is very red. It's redder than Kansas. This is going to go in the F tier. Next, Louisiana. It's another very red state. It's the Bill Cassidy seat. He might have to worry about a primary, but in the general election, I don't think it's going to be competitive. It's going to go in F. Now we've got Maine. This is the Susan Collins seat. If she runs again, Democrats are definitely going to be lining up to take her out. She easily overperformed the polling last time, but her popularity has been shaky. It's tough to say what's going to happen, but this is going to be a competitive seat. I think this is going to go in the B tier. The next state is Massachusetts. Very blue state and not much to say. It's going to go on the bottom. How about Michigan? This is the Gary Peters seat, and I would expect he's going to run for another term. Republicans don't have the greatest bench here, but they still should make it reasonably competitive. I don't think they're going to just give up this seat. So it's kind of borderline CB. We're going to put this next to Maine in B. How about Minnesota? This is going to be Tina Smith, and if she runs again, she's going to be the heavy favorite. If she doesn't run, Democrats are going to be favored. Either way, I think this is good for the D tier. About Mississippi, I think this is going to be similar to the red version of Minnesota. Cindy Hyde-Smith, I don't think is the strongest candidate. She did not win by a landslide last time, but the lean of the state is going to put this in the D tier. About Montana, this is kind of a similar story. If Republican Steve Daines runs again, he's going to be heavily favored. If he doesn't, the Republicans are still going to be favored. I think this is a good state for the D tier. Next, Nebraska. This looks like it's going to be Pete Ricketts, the former governor. That's going to be after the special election in 2024. And I'd say there's an outside chance it could get a little bit more competitive. But for now, I think this is pretty low. It's going to go in F. About the Granite State, New Hampshire. This would be the Jeanne Shaheen seat. If she retires, it's going to go up higher. Same thing if a higher profile Republican gets in. But for now, I don't think there's enough here. This is going to be fairly uncompetitive. I'm going to put this in D. Then we've got New Jersey. This is going to be Cory Booker. I don't think it's going to be competitive. It's a blue state. It's going to go in F. And how about New Mexico? This is the Ben Ray Lujan seat. It's regarded as a blue state, but the margin here last time was not overwhelming. I think this is also going to be a good state for the D tier. About North Carolina. This would be the Thom Tillis seat. And this one is no doubt going to be competitive. Tillis could even get a primary challenge. Democrats could put up somebody like Roy Cooper. I think this could go in the opposite direction of whoever wins in 2024. So yeah, this is high profile. It's at least going to go in B. And let's go up next to Georgia. Let's put this at the top in the A tier. How about the Sooner State? We've got Oklahoma. This is a red state. This is easily going to go on the bottom. Next, Oregon. If Jeff Merkley retires, then I'm going to put this up in D, but until then, this is going to go on the bottom also in F. Next, we've got Rhode Island. And whether Jack Reed retires or he doesn't, this is still going to go in the F tier. How about South Carolina? This would be the Lindsey Graham seat, and he also could retire. It could get more competitive. For now, I think this is going to go in the D tier. Next, South Dakota. Red state, not much to say. This is going to go next to Rhode Island on the bottom. Same thing with Tennessee. This is also going to go on the bottom. How about the Lone Star State, Texas? This is the John Cornyn seat. He is going to be subject to a primary challenge. That could make it more complicated. So this is definitely a wait and see type of situation. For now, there's enough there to put it in the middle of the pack. It's going to go in C. Next state, Virginia. This is Mark Warner's seat, and the expectation here is maybe Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin challenges Warner. If he does, I think it easily could be competitive. A lot of it would depend on the national environment. Without Youngkin, Warner is going to be heavily favored, so that would affect the rating, and plus we don't even know if Warner is going to run again. So this could go anywhere from D, maybe up to even B, so we'll split the difference, we'll put it next to Texas in C. And then we've got West Virginia. Unless something crazy happens like Joe Manchin tries to run again, this should be a layup for the GOP, and they're going to hold it easily in the F tier. And the final state is Wyoming. That's going to be the same thing. Cynthia Lummis, or Loomis, however you want to say it, she should coast to victory, so no competition there. It's going to go in F. And that's it. Those are the tiers. And like with every tier ranking, keep in mind that a lot of these are borderline, so you might be just on the other side of a different ranking. But other than that, I think these are some good preliminary tiers. It's really challenging to do with so many unknowns. But that's what I've got for now. You're going to have some different rankings, so let me know in the comments, how would your 2026 Senate tier ranking look at this point? It's a long way off, but let me know some of your thoughts down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to help support the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.